For decades, household affordability in America has been defined by one ridiculously oversimplified question: can you handle the monthly payment right now? And that mindset, that one little question, is the reason that millions of renters stay stuck and millions of landlords stay rich. Maybe the question should be, do you want to build $863,955 of household wealth? Because the answer to that one is hell yes, I do. But when you zoom out and look at 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future, you realize something incredibly important. Affordability isn't just about what you can afford today. It's about what's it going to cost you over time and where's it going to get you. And when you look at a long-term cost, the numbers tell a very different story from the one we've all been sold. Today, I'm going to show you a breakdown of 3 real-life affordability paths that single professionals and young households could take every day. Number 1, renting. Number 2, renting and invested in a side fund. And number 3, owning and investing in the same side fund using my HomeBucks TCO software program. And by the end of this, you will never think about affordability the same way again. Let's start with the truth behind what I call the affordability lie. Affordability, as taught today, only looks at your next 30 days. It ignores the next 10 years of rent inflation, cash flow erosion, tax benefits, equity growth, debt amortization, appreciation on your property, and of course the total cost of ownership. And this is the problem. See, you can have 2 households earning the same money, living in the same city, making the same payment every month, and when they walk away from that property, they end up with a completely different financial outcome. The numbers I'm about to show you will prove this to you. And when you see them, you're going to understand why I call this entire system the affordability lie. And part of me believes that this story isn't being shared in the news, and it isn't being shared all over social media, and it surely wasn't talked to us by our parents. Maybe just because the folks getting rich off of you continuing to pay rent over all these years doesn't want the story told. Because you might get smarter, and you might move out, and you might become empowered with the truth so you can make a decision that's better for you and your family. And you might, at the end, get richer for a change. Let's dive into this, beginning with the simplest question. Let's assume you're a single professional renting in one of the top metro areas of the United States, and you're paying $2,000 a month for your place. And let's also say you're paying about $100 a month for utilities. All total, that adds up to $2,100 a month. And I hear this all the time. Carrie, that's affordable. I can handle $2,100 a month. And they're thinking about the short term. And maybe they're right. But see, here's the problem. Rents typically go up. And if we assume just a 5% rent inflation, which is actually conservative in most metro areas in the United States these days, your total cost over 10 years of renting becomes $322,650. And here's the part that most renters never hear. Every one of those dollars is 100% gone. There's no equity, there's no tax benefits, they get no appreciation, they build no wealth, they get nothing. Oh, and by the way, the landlord gets richer. And this is why I say renters aren't paying for a place to live, they're paying for someone else to get rich. Now, let's pivot into a more realistic scenario for most metro areas in the U.S. today. Let's look at 2 single professionals. Let's say they're friends, maybe they're roommates, maybe they're best friends, maybe they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And their combined rent now is going to be $2,100 times 2, which is $4,200. Over that same 10-year period with the same 5% rent inflation, they will spend $645,296. That's right, I said renting. 2 young professionals, maybe like you, will spend $645,296. And again, I'm going to keep saying this because it matters. Every single dollar they will spend is 100% wasted. They will have nothing to show for it after a decade. And this is the part of the affordability conversation that never gets talked about. Let's switch gears and let's compare these same 2 professionals, but this time, let's say instead of renting, they choose to buy a reasonably priced home for $585,000. I chose this price point because it fits many metro areas in the United States when you have buyers where you have 2 incomes and let's say the incomes are 75 to 100,000 bucks a year. When we run their total cost of ownership using my HomeBucks TCO system, their total cost of ownership comes up to $529,429, and that's for their mortgage payment plus their utilities. Now think about this just for a second. Their total cost of owning is less than their total cost would have been to rent, $529,429 versus $645,296. So just looking at their cash flow, we're beginning to see the beginning of what I call the affordability lie. But wait, there's more. Because along with the expense of owning a home, wealth can be created. So over that same 10-year period, assuming a 4.2% annual appreciation rate, which is what we've seen all across the country over the last 30 years, the two homeowners now have built $611,251 in combined financial benefits through the combination of reduced total cost of ownership, equity accumulation or appreciation, and cash flow optimization. Plus, they also have the opportunity to accrue about another $50,500 in federal income tax benefits, assuming a 15% tax bracket for the fact that they have interest that they can write off as well as property taxes. So their total wealth creation as homeowners has now grown to $661,795. Compare that to a total rental expense of $645,296. So let me say this as plainly as possible. Two friends renting for 10 years end up spending $645,296. The two same friends owning for those same 10 years end up having built $661,795 in wealth, not spend, wealth. And we haven't even added the side fund yet. Now, after I first shared a similar case study a few weeks ago, I got a number of messages from folks saying, "Hey, Carrie, what if instead of buying, we rent and we invest the difference? What if we put that money into a side fund like a 401k or an IRA, maybe an annuity or a life insurance policy?" And let me tell you, this is a great question. I'm a hardcore math guy and I like all the numbers. And it deserves to be answered, but it deserves a real answer, not a guess. So let's run those numbers. Let's go back to our two renters. Same rent, same utility. Same 10-year rental costs of $645,000. But now we add a disciplined investment strategy. Let's say each friend invests $500 a month into a tax advantage account earning 10%. And with $500 each adding up to $1,000 a month over 10 years, this adds up to this side fund of $202,160. Okay, so as a summary, we've got 10 years, we've spent $645,000 on rent, we've built $202,000 on investment. So their net result is simply they're going to walk away with $202,160. It's a lot better than zero. It's a lot better than renting alone, but it's still nowhere near the wealth trajectory of just being a homeowner. This is why I'll be the first to say that a rent plus investment strategy is far better than just renting, but dramatically still inferior to the mathematics of the HomeBucks TCO path. Now, let's apply that same investment strategy to two friends that bought the $585,000 house. They still optimize their mortgage. They still manage their total cost of ownership. They build equity. They build appreciation. They enjoy tax benefits. And so they're still going to get that $661,900 in wealth that we calculated earlier from owning. But now, just like the renters, they're also going to be into a position where they can invest the same $500 each into that same 10% earning side fund. And it will still grow to $202,160. So now their total 10-year wealth building becomes $661,795 plus $202,160, which equals $863,955. Pretty amazing, right? So just to make sure we're on the same page, let's recap this whole thing. Y'all could be renters with no side investment, and you would walk away with $0. You could be renters with a side fund, which is great, And at the end of your 10 years, you would walk away with 202, 160, which is nowhere near bad. Or you could be owners using our HomeBucks TCO system and do the side fund, and you would walk away with $863,955. This difference is not small. You could even say this difference is life-changing. So here's the real affordability question. Knowing what you know now, knowing what I've just shown you, if you were choosing a path which was truly affordable and which one makes more sense to you, would it be option A, where you and your buddy, roommate, boyfriend, girlfriend choose to rent for the next 10 years and pay out $645,296? And maybe, let's say you choose to put this $1,000 a month extra into this investment account. So now you either have $0 or you have $202,000. I'll take the 202, don't get me wrong. Or do you choose to go option B, where you choose to own using our HomeBucks TCO program to optimize your total cost of ownership and inherently build $661,795 in wealth? And then if you make that choice to put the $1,000 a month into the side fund and grow an additional $202,000, you now would have $863,950. Which one feels more affordable now? Which one puts you onto a real wealth trajectory? And which one keeps you stuck in the affordability lie? Here's the truth. You don't need a special program. You don't need government assistance. You don't need interest rates to drop like crazy. You don't need gimmicks, and you surely don't need perfect credit, and you surely don't need to time the market perfectly. You just need the right math, and that's what the HomeBucks TCO system delivers. The math that the traditional real estate and mortgage lending world will never show you. So if you want to see your own numbers, not just some hypothetical example, I'd recommend that you take 3 minutes and complete your very own Smart Buyer's Home Score. The link is in the description below. It's the first step so you can figure out how your opportunity like this could really work. Because at the end of the day, we will show you your true 10-year cost of renting. We will show you your true cost of owning a home. We will show you what your equity trajectory could look like. Say that 5 times. We will show you your cash flow optimization. We'll show you your HomeBucks TCO advantage, and we'll show you the exact path that builds you the most wealth. Because the truth is this, if you want to own smarter, you will live richer. It starts with knowing your numbers, and that starts today. The American media has relentlessly been pushing the narrative that in recent surveys, 70 to 75% of American households believe that owning a home is unaffordable. And so many, as a result, resort to a long-term strategy of renting. In my opinion, this is accepting defeat. And I totally get it. You have every right to believe that in the greatest country on the earth, if you're working hard and you're paying your bills, you shouldn't have to struggle to own a home. But you also shouldn't have to be fed a constant stream of gloom and doom either. Where's the hope? Where's the ray of sunshine? Where in the world is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow that we all call the American dream? I'm happy to say that it's right here. After 40 years of working with successful homeowners to buy and own over $2 billion of residential real estate, I've developed an innovative system called the HomeBucks TCO. And using it, I can help you make the reality of owning your American dream home affordable again. So if you're tired of working hard and watching the largest part of your salary go to making your landlord richer, month after month, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, HomeBucks Magic, and let's get busy. Thanks so much, and have a great day.